think the Viking potentially here have the answers to all of those questions as we get ourselves into game one.
It's a lot of magical damage against the Timber, so something that he does not like to play against. We'll definitely get the hood this game against Lich, against Tiny, but one wrong move and you're not gonna feel that Timbersaw snowballing. I've seen it so many times where like, oh, it sounds like a great Timbersaw game. And if things are not going well for Viking, they can just play away from Timbersaw. Like, don't get to his lane if things are not going well in the laning stage. Also, Earthshaker, like, this is the hero that, you know, for a reason it's not picked. He feels very underwhelming, relying on that Blink Dagger. Fisher got nerfed. Like, before it lasted for 8 seconds, level 1. Now it's 6.5, so that's a pretty big difference.
Yeah, a lot of emphasis there on his item timing. But he's got some good combos to go along with it. Slayer on that Grandma as well. Going to be offering a lot of damage as we get into those big 5v5s. And you're talking about the keep away with the Timbersaw. If Viking do want to dodge that, this Drow Ranger could quite easily be isolated. Kuman on that Drow, susceptible to getting jumped by, Tiny Blink, Void, Time Walk, the Mars with the Blink and the Spear. Lots of ways here for Viking to gap close and get in on top of their targets. As neither team really contesting bounty runes. 2 up north for the Radiant, and the Dire grabs both down south. As it looks like Cyber Legacy setting up bottom lane for a bit of a Troy lane.
Yeah, I think Viking expected that. They adjusted already accordingly, putting Lich and Faceless Void on the top lane. Like, they're just going to sack Mars farm. And yeah, I mean, Cyber Legacy should win a Troy lane. You want to have Timbersaw getting the solo XP. On the top lane, he's one of the few heroes that, just shines. He wants to get that solo XP, get to level 3, get to level 5, but we can see Viking already doing a good job just zoning him out. He started with the reactive armor. They're going to deny as much as possible, pull the lane back, and continue harassing. Celery started with the 3 enchanted mangoes, which is more than enough. Keep spamming that Frost Nova or Frost Blast. Like, they changed the names of Crystal Maidens, like Frost Nova, Crystal Nova, I don't even know. It was before
Freezing Nova, Arcane Nova.
Q, we're gonna call it Q.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we saw Celery kind of going in behind the creep wave. Got a couple of taps onto the Timbersaw just to see what he'd leveled up. Reactive armor comes, and that harassment continues. They're keeping Blizzy out of XP range very nicely as well. There's a different story down bottom and in towards mid actually here. Tiny 8-2 against the Embers 5-0. Tiny with that, attack damage looking pretty good. With the Quelling Blade helping him out, but Magical, he's equally going to be able to get CS and farm here. Celery also sniping Blizzy's Courier.
What surprises me is that Tiny's still left in the pool. I'm not sure how, because this hero is way too strong. At least in my book, you have a hero that scales, you can play him as position far most of the time, but he really shines in a mid lane. Boom, trying to make a move on Magical on a mid lane. One more
the final
hit,
touch.
The Fairy Fire.
He's got the Fairy Fire. And now a salve as well. Magical getting very close there. Tiny out of bottle charges now. Gonna have to wait a couple of minutes for that first rune spawn. It feels like we're seeing a lot more early bottles, like the actual rush bottles now, as we had a period of like a year or so, where people were, going nulls, wraith bands, spamming mangoes, waiting for like 3.5 minutes, then getting their bottle for that first refill.
It really depends on the matchup, like who's playing against who. In this type of matchup, you want to have the bottle. You know that I don't think Ember Spirit should score a kill on Tiny. Like, Tiny has an upper hand. In this matchup, I'd call it 65-35, and Boom is playing it nicely, so we might expect to see 1 or 2 heroes rotating, trying to secure the rune, refill the bottle for their mid laners. How's bottom doing? Drow Ranger 8-4. A lot of denies, but not too many CS. Even Mars has more CS than Drow Ranger, so things are going very well for Viking at the moment.
Yeah, you look at the CS board, it's 3 green heroes at the top, and the difference is pretty drastic between these core heroes, especially. So that tri-lane with the Earthshaker not particularly working out. They're going to have to try and pull camps, reset this lane equilibrium as often as they can. But it seems that Aramis on this Rubik doing a great job at just dragging that wave back every moment he's available to.
And on the top lane,
the Earthshaker.
Faceless Void will get level 4. I assume he gets 1 point time dilation, so Timbersaw can't use Timber Chain if they start playing aggressive. Lich for now saving a point if they need to catch him mid-air with the Sinner State Gates. And yeah, I mean, this is Timbersaw. Like, you picked this hero to dominate, he's sitting at 3 CS.
Yeah, and level 3 as well. Being zoned pretty heavily. As Big Num did make a rotation mid. RMS is there to meet it, and Boom gets the Invis rune top. And this is the thing, you've got the tri-lane bottom lane, so there are no heroes to collapse on that top rune, which means Boom can quite easily just take it himself. And if Rubik comes towards the bottom rune, you can guard that one as well. Viking in a prime position from every single one of their lanes and looking real hot to take this out of the laning stage into the mid game with the teamfight combos they've got. Chrono, Chain Frost, the Mars ulti, and then anything that Rubik can steal. If he gets Mortimer's Kisses, for example, anything from Timbersaw, that raw damage output is going to be pretty insane. Well, again, it looks like Boom and Magical going head-to-head. Ember Spirit can't really chase under tower, going to force the Invis and the bottle charges to come. And Cyber Legacy forced to move the Earthshaker away as that tri-lane bottom wasn't getting the supports, the experience they needed. Sharing between 3 heroes is a pretty big struggle when you're not winning the lane completely.
And now you have Tiny rotating. This is going to be a first blood.
On the bounty rune he goes. Boom gets the toss down. Slayer there with a jump over the cookie. Allowing a bit of an escape, but the drag back from telekinesis allows them to secure first blood like you said. Boom gets it. And they spear back the Drow Ranger, so she can't really get anything there either.
And now with this setup that they have 3 heroes on bottom, Blizzard didn't get anything from the top lane, they're gonna struggle, so they need Magical to be very active and try to make stuff happen. At one point, the Drow Ranger will need to rotate to the top lane because bottom lane will become unplayable, especially when Mars hits level 6, and he's gonna get level 6 before the Drow Ranger. Also, what they can do is swap things around for themselves, put Faceless Void on the bottom. When he gets 6, they get a kill on Drow Ranger, there is no counterplay, there is not a single save.
And it feels like Earthshaker struggling to find his home. Boom is back to full HP as Big Num lurking at the top rune spot. Now he can guard it up for Magical, but the Avalanche toss combo coming in. Oh, Boom! He did the maths there, didn't he? He knew exactly how much damage he needed.
Well, you would expect someone being called Magical and having a Flame Guard that absorbs magical damage not to die to Avalanche toss combo, but here we are, and Tiny picks up the best rune. He gets the arcane ones. He can easily rotate. So far, so good, even though it's only 2 kills. Like Viking, how they set up their lanes, how they went through the laning stage is just perfect.
It sure is. Like, Blizzy is jungling. He's heading back to Fountain. Not really anywhere he can be. And then they make up their tri-lane again, bottom. Big Num here with the Earthshaker. They've got 2 points in Cookie. 2 points in multi-shot. I just don't see how they can make a kill on, you know, a Mars, for example, though, unless he's completely caught out of position. And you can see Toby, very defensive, hiding behind his little range creep near his tier 1. And when the waves meet, he'll be perfectly safe and sound.
Aramis just wants to stay out of XP range, so, you know, that Toby gets that level 6 faster, but also wants to be close if they want to make, you know, an aggressive move on Toby.
Smoke time. Yeah, I saw the Lich and I was wondering, why is Lich in the mid lane? But he's come in to smoke the Tiny. Lich is going to try and maybe leech some experience in that mid lane. No, he says, screw it, I'm heading back
some
top.
experience, huh?
I knew that was coming. I set you up for that one. Where is Tiny? Hiding away. Smoke has popped. It looks like Boom won't find anyone. They've realized Tiny's missing, so he TP's top. And this is a sneaky move. Cyber Legacy probably expecting the Tiny to be bottom lane ganking, which he was, but in comes the Sinister Gaze, the toss, the final bits of damage required from the Lich with that Frost Blast.
They don't even have to pop the Chrono. Yep. You would expect them to go bottom. You know, Drow Ranger very killable at the moment. Only level 4, Toby's level 6. There's going to be Arena, just kidding.
So now they're cooking onto the Rubik. I don't know if Viking were trying to kill the Drow there with Arena's spear after the lift, but Aramis has opened himself up, and the Magic Stick, he's actually made a swift escape. Now the spear with the Arena there, he spears up, but it's onto the Earthshaker. Kuman's still standing strong. Drow Ranger, she's getting into the tree line. But that final hit from the God's Rebuke as Ember Spirit's rotation arrives, Toby might trade his life. 2 for 1 here. Cyber Legacy striking back with that first Ember rotation, but Drow Ranger dying never feels good.
It's more than fine trade for Viking, where Tiny is getting closer to his Blink Dagger. It's gonna be insane timing on the Blink Dagger. They just killed the Drow Ranger, and it's time for Drow to swap the lane. Problem is, you know, Faceless Void still did not use the Chronosphere, so he can't even go to the top lane. Yep, this is what I just talked about. So Drow Ranger TPs to mid lane.
Try and get her a bit of security. Mars comes back down to bottom. Magical's farming through a camp, and that wave he's pulled in. Nice little royal jelly for him, as well as the Iron Talon he already has. Might be time to shift the Iron Talon onto the Drow Ranger, though, as her home is going to be in the jungle very, very shortly.
Yeah, just need to get that level 6, so the farming capabilities are going to increase.
It's a completely free game for Void, though. Shad at 4,500 net worth. He's got Hand of Midas. He's farming away like a madman. Blizzy, he walks forward and then runs away as Tiny finds the Avalanche. A bit of a combo there, but Magical this time super tanky with that Flame Guard.
Radiant are scanning.
Oh, Radiant scanning as well. They've got a feeling that Drow Ranger has left the mid lane. And Lich is here warding, getting vision of where both Timbersaw and the Drow are farming a little deeper in that dire jungle.
Bounty runes seems it's just gonna be 2 for 2. And this is the problem that Earthshaker has. If you're not being active early on, same goes for Tiny position 4, where you're not getting kills. You need that Blink Dagger. I mean, Tiny still achieves 10 times more than Earthshaker without a Blink Dagger.
I mean, yeah, he's gone in and he's killed Slayer. Walked straight towards Toby's lane. Now Magical here gets a couple of spells off, and he does have the phase boots to sprint away, which he's going to have to do because Boom's hasted, giving chase. The spear throws him outside. The Z-axis comes into play.
Oh, yep. This is some easy math, you know. If you know how Dota works, he just got thrown out of the axis and outside. Man, there's so many, I'm gonna say, cool interactions between like Tiny, Spear, Chronosphere, another combo from Tiny.
Yeah, Timbersaw very nearly dead, and Fisher working against him with that beautiful Chain Frost, bouncing back onto Magical. They've done a ton of damage, but the Mortimer's Kisses landing on Lich will get them a trade. Now Magical going deeper, he wants Tiny. Boom is being burnt alive, the poor little pebble, but he gets a toss and an avalanche off. Now Magical speared up against the trees, and he's gone too deep. Shad with a chrono, there's the combination, get themselves forward aggressively onto Grandma, and the Fisher will block off a couple of Viking heroes, but Grandma doesn't have a way home.
So Shad gets a double kill. This is the first rotation. He's been holding on to that ulti for so long, and you know, Timbersaw not having impact at all. This is the hero that you want to snowball with, you want to dominate the laning stage, going straight into Khud, but you are very burstable. We saw that in the previous fight where they are having so much magical damage. And overall, Vikings team fight is much stronger, so if they just keep fighting, keep farming, Tiny getting closer to the Blink Dagger, just 300 gold away, it's gonna be... This is easy to execute Dota, you know. Faceless Void, I'm gonna keep farming, I have Hand of Midas going straight into BKB, no shenanigans, they have no abilities that pierce magic immunity, so he's gonna be fine, you know, just taking care of himself, and then the rest of the team, Tiny, I'm gonna blink in, same goes for Mars at one point, you're gonna have it, and it's just simple and easy to execute Dota. Boom, finds another Invis rune.
He does, but the smoke from Cyber Legacy is coming southwards. Void has been pinged out. They know roughly where he is, but they've not exactly seen him yet. And now Shad is by his tower. The rest of the Viking heroes are on the Drow mid lane, though. Kuman blown up as they do jump down bottom. The chain's there. The time the election comes out. He's got time walk in 2 seconds with 8-1 charges, but he's not going to be able to escape. As the spear onto 4 is beautiful from Toby, and in comes the Chain Frost. You're absolutely right, Lacoste. It bounces in and out, but Blizzy is still half HP. The raindrops and still holding on to 10 stick charges. Means he's a difficult target to finish off.
It looked like it's going to be a triple kill for Lich with that Chain Frost, but Cyber Legacy, like, they need to protect their draw range. Like, she is their late game insurance. Timber just beat his mid.
Oh, Blizzy, no. We've seen that before. Rainbow TP's coming in now for Cyber Legacy. They want this Tiny real bad. Cookie forward, there's the slight chains. But it comes to nothing.
I almost feel bad.
It feels like Cyber Legacy just constantly playing catch-up. That one smoke down bottom, that's the first move they've made, and now they've just been reacting to what Viking's been doing, and here comes another smoke from Viking.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
With this Tiny,
They
they're
wanna
not
kill?
reliant on, you know, Chrono and Mars ulti. They can just keep going.
Radiant are scanning.
They're going for a
Oh.
bigger kill. I thought they were gonna kill Earthshaker. They see Kuman.
Kuman! Oh
gone.
my god! Die, respawn, and die again. Not the life the Drow wanted to lead. Earthshaker, 700 to blink. Let's see if Viking can stop him in his tracks as they do run forward. The blink and the combo. The Echo Slam stops it just for a second, but the toss will finish him off. As Magical now left alone near that mid-tier 1 to try and defend against all of these Viking heroes.
Once the tier 1 tower falls, it will open up the map for Viking to start playing more aggressively. Felsvoid has another Chronosphere, so whenever he joins, there's a combination. Who's holding onto that Chain Frost.
Now look at the itemization from Void. Midas BKB. We're in the lead, guys. Let's not give them a chance to come back with Ember and Drow. Let's finish this.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Maybe he could have gone for Mask of Madness just to, you know, increase his
Dire's
farming a
top
bit
tower
and
is
have
under
more
attack.
damage inside the Chronosphere, but feels like they don't care too much about it. They know if one hero is caught inside the Chrono, he's probably gonna die if they use the Chain Frost or if like Rubik just steals one of the spells, and it's a very good Rubik game. Like if you steal anything from Timbersaw, that's gonna be great against him, pure damage. If you steal Fisher, anything from Grandma pretty much is good.
Right now with Flame Guard, they're thinking about going on Magical. Combinations there, the Telekinesis doesn't come. A quick jump back to his Remnant and Magical. He's alright. Not having an amazing game though, going into Spirit Vessel. Sitting just behind the Drow in net worth.
Yeah, I was wondering what's that about. Like, he's not playing against Morphling, against Alchemist. There's no need. None of these heroes care too much about your Spirit Vessel. I think he needed to get, like, damage, or you need to get Yule Scepter Chrono.
Yeah, Shad finds
Easy
big
pick
enough.
up. They killed their Shaker
talk-
twice.
Oh,
so-
mid lane though, Celery is being chunked down by the Frost Arrows, and Drow will finally get a kill as they also take down the Tiny. Boom, the bigger kill. Picked off by Magical up to the top. Rune Spot. Unexpected. And Cyber Legacy strike back.
Yeah, Viking killing Earthshaker twice is a pretty big deal. Just delaying that instant initiation coming out from the Blink Echo Slam is a pretty big deal. Toby. You see that more often, Yule Scepters on Mars, where you have a good setup, you have mana sustain to keep spamming the lanes.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Especially against maneuverable heroes, you know, the spirits in particular. Having that instant Yules into Spear. Always super handy. You can get yourself out of Gust and things like that as well if need be, or even cancel the Mortimer's
Radiant's
Kisses
bottom
from Grandma.
tower is under attack. Dire's middle
Cyber
tower
Legacy
is under attack.
starting to try and get out
Dire's
on the
middle
map,
tower has
take some
fallen.
objectives, claim a bit of land for themselves. Bottom tier 1 and then into the Radiant Jungle is where they would like to be heading, but you see this smoke from Viking. They're cutting them off at the pass. Trying to make sure that the retreat back not going to work out, and there's the instant initiation. Yule into Spear on the Ember Spirit, and he has no form of escape from that. It is immediate, snappy, decisive for the Drow with a 3-man Gust. And the Blink Echo, Big Num's in, onto the two of them, and they clear up that Rubik quickly. Mars will fall immediately after. No, he won't. He'll sprint away. He's tanky, and he's dodging and juking. He's jiving away. This Toby Mars, where's he going? He's going left, he's going right, he's going up. Kuman's down, and out of the Chrono. Where is it? It's on cooldown still. Void is going to whack them out. And with the damage he's got, he brings them all down as a 5-man wipe.
One thing I learned, Gary, in Dota over all these years, that if you see a Tiny with your Arcane Rune, you run. Like, you do not take this fight. Unless you can burst them down. They only started the team fight with killing out Ember Spirit, so that means 4 versus 5, and they only managed to bring down Mars. He's gonna have, like, 10-second cooldown on both of the abilities. That's pretty insane. Like, I mean, overall, Tiny's just insane hero right now, and if he picks up that rune, you better run.
Man, Toby made so much space there as well. Watching the replay back, Kuman just got chased by the Tiny, the Arcane Rune you're mentioning, and Lich with a pretty huge amount of damage coming from his skill set too. And that is a fight that Cyber Legacy just could not afford to be losing at this point. They were in catch-up mode before. Now it's time for drastic measures. Yeah, Lacoste, that was the blink reveal from Earthshaker too. It looked all right, but you need something way more spectacular. As Grandma getting caught inside the arena. Blood Boom's there again with the combo. Blizzy trying to arrive with the help of the Fisher. They do catch Toby, but he's got the Frost Shield up, and now they focus Magical. Lift him up. Telekinesis back, but they don't have the continuation.
Echo Saber done on Tinies. And there's just a casual Nether Shawl as well. More spell damage, some extra magic resistance, and he doesn't care about losing any armor because right now he's sitting at 20.
Yeah, thanks to Grow.
Talking about Grow. Grow Bow picked up by Drow Ranger.
Oh, it's your favorite item on the Void. Well, he just picked it up and sent it back. It's the fillet stone, as you like to call it.
Yeah.
But is it a beef fillet? You know, is it filet mignon? Or is it chicken fillet? What is it?
Filet mignon. So Lech is gonna hold to that one, and he will get one defensive item eventually from the extra gold. I see Glimmer Cape queued up.
Almost 20 minutes in.
Radiant are
Viking, with that high ground ward, thinking about playing into the bottom bounty runes and again into this dire triangle. But Cyber Legacy are readying themselves to defend their high ground. Oh, Grandma. Oh, dearie me. She comes in, tries to de-ward, gets the Observer at least, and cookies away. Viking don't even get the kill. Now a Gust. With a Fisher, Lich has been caught. They blink, they stun, and they slay. Lich flies back, straight in. They've got the Mars Arena catching Drow Ranger. Now where's Boom? The Titan needs to blink in. The little save there on Kuman, but Boom says nah. Shuts it down, and Blizzy has to run away. They've got the Void arriving, needs a bash. Time walks forward as he tries to chase the Timbersaw, but the Mars has found the Earthshaker. That's an actual kill that's happening. Big Num's taken out, and Void has given up on the chase as the
Chrono and Grandma
catches Grandma. 3 kills in quick succession, and there is just no response here from Cyber Legacy.
Chad did not want a Chrono Ember Spirit. He's a bit tanky with the Spirit Vessel, sitting at 1700 HP. Same goes for Timbersaw. Like, I think this game just feels like 4 versus 5. Timbersaw doesn't do anything. Like, yo guys, I'm right there, hit me. They ignore him.
Yeah, he has a hood, but who cares? A nice neutral item picked up by the Void as well. Who's he going to hand it to? I saw a clumsy net somewhere.
Oh, it's a great item. Against the Timbersaw, against the Ember Spirit.
Yeah, it really is. And again, this desperation smoke. Cyber Legacy knows that with Blink Echo Slam, they can start a fight and potentially win it, as long as they catch out this Void or Tiny.
Dire's top tower is under
Toby's
attack.
Mars is miles away,
Dire
but
are
it doesn't
scanning.
look like the smoke will connect with anyone on the Radiant team. So it will just be a bit of vision there. Observer wards placed in that jungle. As Viking kind of prepping themselves for, you know, a team fight win into Roshan potentially is probably what they're looking for in the next couple of minutes. They don't have the best way, Viking, I feel, of just taking Rosh or sneaking it.
Because they don't have sustain. There's no Vlads, there's no Mask of Madness on Faceless Void, so
Radiant's
like someone's gonna
middle
need
tower
to
is under attack.
tank it up.
Yeah, not something they can do just yet.
Radiant's
Void with a
bottom
10-second
tower is under
BKB.
attack.
As
Dire's
Ember Spirit
top
is
tower
slowly
under
working
attack.
towards his. The Drow Ranger's still going to go for the Hurricane Pike. Do you feel it's time to just say, screw it, I need BKB? Or is the Chrono just going to screw you up anyway?
That's a good question. I think it's a tough choice for Kuman, where he also wants to have a defensive item, but does not want to buy a BKB yet, but might need to consider getting one instead of a Pike here. Because there's plenty
Slayer.
of magical damage. Slayer wanted to die. Like, I feel like he's right there. You know, I want to see some rotations. He's been farming the bottom lane for way too long.
Well, he pushed it all the way out. He forces a rotation. He's only dead
Radiant's
for half a
middle
minute,
tower is under attack.
so I'm sure he's all right with it. I'm buying a little bit of time for Kuman, as well as Magical, to keep on farming.
Well, You know you're in a lot of trouble when Faceless Void on the enemy team bought BKB as the first item, and it's still 10 seconds. Did not even use it yet.
Yeah, and they've won a couple of fights, even without using it. 14k net worth lead. And it's Magical is being eyed up by Toby. Oh, the timing there. Sleight of Fist comes just as he wanted to try to set up with the Evil Scepter.
I feel like Viking are just toying with them. Faceless Void has Diffusal queued up at this point.
Radiant are
And he's committing. Like, I think it's a much safer choice if you just get MKB, then you know Draw Rangers are gonna get a Butterfly. And it's too much damage. Magical, can he dodge
They've
this
caught
one?
Magical. Yeah, I don't think he can. They've got Sinister Gaze, the Avalanche Toss. Magical's done for. High ground Observer Ward there from Aramis as they slowly sneak towards the jungle, and into Roshan they go. They've got a couple of pickoffs, and they know that they can very likely just tank through this with Halberd on Void, Tanky Tiny, and that Mars, of course, with Bulwark.
Sharing is caring, guys. Let's share some damage from the Roach. They got a good pickoff on the Ember Spirit.
And you feel like this would be a prime opportunity for Earthshaker with that Blink Echo to try and contest, but with Ember Spirit down and not wanting to buy back, they have to play opposite side of the map. So Roshan's there, 25 minutes in. Viking TPing down to Outpost with Mars. Rubik has started on the tier 2.
Bounty.
And trying to get in on top of Drow, but there's also Snapfire and Timbersaw here. Not an easy initiation for Toby to make.
Time is money.
Cyber Legacy need to be so delicate with how they approach these fights now. Any one of these Viking heroes, if they start on the the right target, they get one spell down, Chrono or that Arena of Blood, it's just fight over. How are the buybacks looking? Does Dire have any?
Earthshaker and Granny. Yeah. I think it's very important at this stage of the game that you have buyback on your 4s and 5s.
Try and keep it that way. As Big Num is eyeing up a 4-staff. Snapfire trying to get towards the Aghanim Scepter. From the mid lane Snapfires we've seen, that's a pretty big turning point with the Aghanims. Get that instant initiation, allow you to spit forward, Timbersaw or something like that, or even gobble up the Drow to spit her away from danger. Do you think it's going to have a big impact this game?
It's one of the best Ags in the game, at least the most fun ones, that's for sure. And you can make so many great plays. I don't think it's that good of an item if you're playing from
Setting
the
up bottom. Rubik with a telekinesis. Chains from this Ember Spirit, but he's been Yulesed up with the Snapfire with an Echo Slam. They catch the Rubik, but that's the only kill they'll get. Big Num trades Echo and his life to take down Aramis and potentially save the Ember Spirit there. I thought Magical was probably fine though.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Well, Cyber Legacy, they're not making like aggressive moves, they're just getting pick off here and there, trying to delay this Aegis. They still have a good way of defending their tier 3 towers with the Ember Spirit, Drow Ranger, Earthshaker, but at one point, Viking, they're gonna come for you.
Yeah, and they know Blink Echo's down, they know Mortimer's Kisses are down. The two really only teamfight contribution tools that the Dire have are both on cooldown.
Radiant's bottom tower.
So Viking come out, tried to scout out anyone lurking in the trees. Toby just spearing into the forest. And mid tier 2 is going to get taken down by the rest of the squad. Snapfire and Ember Spirit still sticking down bottom, the only really safe place that they can continue farming. Systematic dismantling of Cyber Legacy here in game 1. Tiny 12-1 and 10 having a great game. Void at 7-1-3 and seemingly unkillable. Radiant Courier in trouble. Magical again going to Remnant away. He's just playing between his bottom tier 2 and mid tier 2. Might get the Courier on the way back as well. Oh, a little Butch the Pudgeling. Maybe a little Fishy as well.
It's pretty much the only kill right now that they can get, unless they commit with
Couriers?
the Echo Slam, yeah. It's very hard for Cyber Legacy to take a fight. Scan's gonna connect.
Oh, do they see him? He's so close. Aramis. Oh, the fog of war must have been millimeters away from Rubik spotting the Ember Spirit there. And Viking are forced to all track back. There's a good little spell grabbed by Rubik. Now he has Fisher. Even more long-range initiation to catch the Ember Spirit, who doesn't quite have BKB yet. Jumping onto Void, bash him up, Yules into the air with a spear to come. Toby lines it up, but misses this time.
Aghanim Scepter completed on Snapfire. So it could be possibly a save, maybe not inside the Chronosphere unless it's really on the edge of one of the allied heroes, but they can start to make, you know, possibly a comeback when Aegis is gone, and it should be gone in 30 seconds. So I think it's time for Cyber Legacy to make an aggressive move, smoke up, and try to make stuff happen. As you said, spit out Timbersaw in front of them.
Force him to do something. They do catch Lich. Celery with Glimmer Cape, but they've got Reveal.
Bullseye.
Let's see what's happening. Void comes in, looking for Drow, but he'll just find Big Num. Boom. Helping him out a little bit there, but Kuman has already TP'd back to Fountain.
Blind
So
Chrono,
don't
let's
find
go.
him. Yeah, just throw it in there. Aegis getting reclaimed. As Aramis spots out Blizzy. Yule's up to cancel his chain. And now Toby arriving. Yule's on Yule's. There's like 3 Yule Scepters here. Rubik, Mars, and Timbersaw all sharing the Cyclones, but Blizzy, unfortunately for him, will not be leaving that Radiant Triangle with his life. And a DD rune spawning bottom means Void should be able to go grab that and potentially threaten high ground.
Double damage. Tiny's gonna pick that up in a bottle. Like,
Okay.
Tiny's massive. Crystallis
right.
with double damage. Going for
Holy
that
crap.
Daedalus. Like, next item should be Aghanim Scepter if it even comes down to that.
3,000 HP flat. Very aesthetically pleasing. He's going to be having some real big crits, isn't he, with that Crystallis? And they'll just group up together. TP back into that mid lane. As we see Cyber Legacy really playing tight. They can't have any heroes really isolated on the map. I mean, no one's even defending top lane. That's how afraid they are of this initiation from Viking. High ground ward sees Toby. Tanky Mars though, as he gets fissured, but boom, the perfect initiation onto Big Num. Stop the Blink Echo, kill the Earthshaker, no buyback on him. So Big Num's down and now it's magical. Sinister Gaze back into the damage and the Mars Arena. With the Chrono, did they even need it? Oh, Shad's going onto the Drow Ranger, they've got the big old Chain Frost bouncing in to clear up the Drow, and Kuman's gone, but Blizzy wiped off the face of the map. And 32-11, Cyber Legacy, they look done.
Yeah, you know what I like to say, Gary, when it's time to call it, it's time to call it. And then they might, you know, learn a thing or two from Hellraisers, even though they are out. They know how to GG out with a style, you know, they understand the game is over. Let's just call it, try to focus on the second game. So this is going to be at least 2 sets of Raxes.
Really, with no response. But yeah, it might be time to practice that good old, you know, shift enter, GG enter. Get your fingers all warmed up for game 2. Snapfire's like, yeah, sod that. I'm not defending. I'm going to go spit some creeps at bottom lane. Viking closing this one out. 1 lane remains as Rubik tries to set up the push towards tier 2 and the tier 3 bottom. Roshan could spawn in 20 seconds. As we should see Viking send one of their 3 couriers. There's a whole squadron of couriers flying back to Fountain. Nice formation. Pick up some mangoes. And who is that? Celery sees the mango tree. He's like, I'm going to pick up some mangoes on the way back for the courier.
Let's see the roast spawn. Could spawn in a second. 2
Long.
minutes. Long spawn.
Pretty long. Blizzy out in the open. Toby spots the Drow in the back, and there's the arena straight in onto Kuman. Getting away from the spear a little bit there with the Manta, but in comes the Blink Echo, catching the Void. But look at how tanky Shad is. He's going to be able to time walk this all off thanks to the BKB. They're going to cape and jump in. We'll catch Slayer. Grandma, into the retirement home you go. Get out of my game. Shad is chasing more. Big Num's in trouble as they do bring down the... Oh, no. Toby's got one charge. It's still in this... Spirit Vessel comes a little bit late. Finally, he'll fall. Magical doing a decent job, but there's just no turnaround play here. Cyber Legacy have spent everything.
Okay.
Boom will fall. The Mortimer's Kisses, thanks to the buyback coming through from Slayer, but the Void is still up and running. And that will force the GGs now.
But yeah, they called GG, Gary. I mean, they could have called it before.